Greetings, Minecrafters! I am Nate T. Bird, and welcome back to Let's Make a Map, Episode 6. In today's episode, I want to start testing the boss fights. But before I can do that, I need to create the win-lose condition for the boss fights. So if the player defeats the boss, what's going to happen? If the player loses to the boss, then what's going to happen? And I also need to reset the game accordingly to make it so that it's replayable. So you can fight another boss after you defeat or lose to the first boss. So that's what I'm working on right now, and that's what we'll do for the first little bit of this episode, and then for the second part, we will go ahead and start testing the boss fights. So a while ago, I created this hideous system right here. Now, this system is designed to get rid of the health tracker. So what it does is it executes from the wither boss, that is the health tracker, that's the boss bar that displays the health of the boss, and then it tests for any entity who has a score of is boss that's 1. So it's checking to see if there's a boss, and if there is, this comparator will be on, which makes this torch turn off, which means that nothing will happen. But I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in when the comparator turns off. So if you kill the boss, then there will no longer be a boss, so this will not be successful in executing. So this comparator will turn off, and this torch will turn on. Now previously it was just this one command block that was got activated, and it would just simply kill the wither boss so that the boss bar would disappear. But I added a few things to this system to help reset the map. So first off, it teleports the players who are in the arena. It teleports them out of the arena, and then it also says that you win, and it removes their in-arena score, so they're no longer in the arena. Now, I kind of don't like this system, and I think I'm going to improve it later on, but for now it works, and we'll go with it. But what about if you lose to the boss? I haven't done that system yet. So this is just if you are successful in defeating the boss, then this is what happens. But what if you lose to the boss? Well, sorry, I just realized that this is not going to work in congruence with the win system, or the lose system, sorry. This is just designed to test for when the boss is no longer there, and then get rid of the wither boss. So these will have to move to a different location, but I'll figure that out later. So in order to lose to the boss, you're going to have to die. So the player needs to die. So we can track that. So what we'll do is we will add a scoreboard objective. So scoreboard objectives add, and then we will call it death. And it will not be a dummy objective. This time it will be a death count objective. So every time the player dies, it will add 1 to this objective. So this is what we're going to use to track if the player has failed to defeat the boss. So what we want to do is we're going to add a command block right here that tests for... No, we don't want it to test for. We want it to reset the in-arena score for the player that died. So scoreboard players set at A whose score underscore death, not dat, is at least 1. So if they have died, then we will set their in-arena score to be 0. So if the player dies, their in-arena score will be set to 0. But we also want to clear their inventory because keep inventory is on. So yeah, we don't want them to have their class items unless they have actually selected a class. So we'll just copy this command block, and instead of a scoreboard players set command, we will have it be a clear command. We're going to just clear the entire inventory of any player who has died. One more thing is that we want to set their class score to 0, meaning that they no longer have a class. So class back to 0. And I'm trying to think of anything else. This is kind of difficult when you're trying to think of what things need to be reset. but I think that's good for now. Oh, and I also want to give them regeneration. In Triple Digits Arena, it's another map that I've made, I had a problem where I would give the player items that would increase their max health, but then I would remove those items, and so when the player got healed again, they would die for some reason. It was very strange, but they wouldn't actually be dead. They clicked revive, their player would just be where they were, but they would be flashing red as if they were dead. It's very strange, and I'm trying to figure out how I can eliminate this bug for this map, because I'm worried that it will happen again. So I'm going to experiment with giving the player regeneration. So let's just see if it works, I guess. So we will go ahead and /effect, not effect all players who are dead, and we will just give them Minecraft regeneration for 1 second with an amplifier of 7, and true, hide the particles. So we do want to hide the particles. And we'll see if that works. And then at the end of this entire system, we're going to set their death score back to 0. So scoreboard players set death back to 0. So this is the reset system. Now this does not actually take care of getting rid of the boss. So if I were to die to the boss, the only thing that would happen is I would be teleported back to the waiting area, or not the waiting area, but the class choosing area. And then I would have my items removed, I would get my class removed, and I would get regeneration, and that's it. But the boss is still there in the arena, so I need to kill the boss, and this is what I was talking about here, because once the boss dies, then this will activate and it will say, hey, you win. So, but I didn't win, I lost. So I need to change this system to a different location. So there's one more thing that I need to add here. We're just going to nudge all of these command blocks over. And then that one's still going to be the last one. But then right here, we want to execute at all players who have a death score that is 1. We want to... We want to run the /kill command for any entity that is the boss. Let's go ahead and get rid of this other stuff. Kill any entity whose score of is boss is at least 1. So if there is a boss, it will die, basically. So executes from any dead player, it'll also kill the boss. And then these things, we'll just leave it here for now, and we will test it right now. So just to see if it works. Go to the lobby, go ahead and pick our class. Let's just do the Berserker. I also did a little bit of the textures off camera in between episodes, so I don't know if it's going to stay or not. I do like sticking to the 16 by 16 just because then it fits with the rest of the map, because these textures are 16 pixels by 16 pixels. But I don't know if it's going to stay or not. I don't know what's going to change. Then Zerker's like the only one that we actually have so far. And then we will click to start the fight. I still haven't changed this guy to be angry or not yet. So I'm in creative mode. That's what it's like. Something's wrong here. There we go. See if I can defeat him. I think he's gonna end up defeating me unless he just saves it. I don't know what was up with that. That was kind of buggy. That axe should be following me, and it should be making noise as well. Okay, yeah, one more hit. He's dead. I'm dead. And then it says I win. So if you look down here, it says I win. But I actually lost. Then I respawn, and I have no items. And it seems to have worked. Let's try to see if I can win this time. We're going to stick to the dagger guy. I forgot what it's called. The rogue. We're going to actually do this one in creative mode. I've already selected the boss. So we're just going to kill him. We're going to make sure that he dies. Now the axe is working. I'm confused. I don't know what was up with that. Yay, I win. So it seems to work. That's handy. Actually, I need to clear the inventory if I win too. So we need to add a few more things. But I will do that off camera because I want to save time so that we can actually do some more testing on camera. Because that's one of the most integral parts of map making is figuring out what the problems are and then improving or fixing them. So I will fix all of this off camera and then I will get back to you when I'm done. Alright, so I took care of fixing up the win-lose condition and now I'm ready to start testing. So let's go ahead and start with the night class. So remember, we are trying to test the balance of the class against the balance of the boss. And I only have the first few bosses actually sort of made, so we can't test all of them. Now you've already seen the Berserker, but we will go ahead and fight him again. So with this class, he's going to be all about knowing when to use the shield. And the shield will block a lot of damage. It gives me resistance quite a bit. So I have to know when to use the shield. First thing I notice right away is the health bar of the boss keeps disappearing. And I think that's because I'm not in range of the Wither boss, who's right down there. Yeah, this fight is a lot harder than I thought it would be. This boss is very difficult. So I think that we're gonna need to reduce this boss's strength and abilities. Yep, I lose. So let's try the knight again, but this time let's fight General Spaz. And it says the Mighty Pigman Warrior down there. Just ignore that. I haven't figured out all of the names in the text yet. And then we will start, and going round launches black TNT for some reason. I don't know why it's completely invisible and whatnot. So the creeper can't actually explode, but his minions can. The creeper itself, he uses a lot of TNT things, and I feel like I'm getting a lot of lag for some reason. FPS seems good. Because he's doing all of this, but I can't see anything. I wonder if it's happening on the roof. I did just recently put the roof in. Huh. Yeah, it's happening on the roof. So there's a bug right there. We need to go and fix that. So let's go ahead and slash kill. So that resets myself, and then that was not what I was expecting. So right there, that is a big bug because I stopped the clock that deals with the TNT before the TNT had time to explode. So I'm glad we caught that one right there. So we can go over here. This is the boss fight mechanics. So he's launching TNT on the roof. He's summoning Prime TNT at himself right there. He's summoning it 20 blocks up. Okay, these are the ones that need to be changed. I believe the max height is 16. Actually, let me go check. I have a few other entities or bosses that summon items above their head. So we will set it to 11 then. So I'm just going to do this real quick, and I'll be back when I'm done. So the other bug was that I turned off this clock before the TNT actually finished exploding. So what I'm doing is I'm detecting for when the TNT is just about to explode, I'm killing it, and then I'm summoning a creeper that instantly explodes in its place. So what I need to do is I need to copy some of these other commands. Now, I'm trying to find the command that does it. So right here, it's going to set my prime TNT score of boomed to 1. Sorry, boom to 1 if the fuse is 1. So means that it's about ready to explode, so it does. So we'll go ahead and grab these 3, and we will just attach them to the global clock. That way it won't happen again, basically. Yep. And for some reason I had to do fuse as 0 and fuse as 1 because it wasn't actually detecting it in time. Strange, I know, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. And I think that's it. Yeah, that should be it. So now I'm gonna go repair the arena, and then we can get back to testing. All right, I fixed the arena, and I'm ready to start another test. This time, he should be able to summon his other TNT. He's not going to summon on the roof. Should be good. This guy, he has resistance. When he does his boost spell thing, he plants a bunch of TNT. He launches TNT. He's just a very explosive boss. Now, some of the things that I've noticed so far is that, well, I did how much damage to him, and he did how much damage to me. So I'm feeling like the classes definitely need a boost. Another thing that I noticed while I was doing a little bit of testing is that the creepers, his summons, don't actually reset because I didn't think about that in the reset system. So I'm going to need to rework the reset system to make it so that it resets per boss, basically, because some of the bosses summon different things, and so I need to reset accordingly. But that's something I will do off camera. But what I would like to do is I would like to give the classes more health. I've been thinking about a way to balance the map for multiple players, because if you have 3 players and they're all fighting one boss, then it's going to be 3 times as easy because, well, you have 3 times the health, you have 3 times the damage. Yeah, it doesn't sound very fair. So what I was thinking of is, instead of like changing the boss to make them deal more damage or less damage based on how many players there are, I would change the players. So as a default, if you're playing single player, I would give the players a large amount of health boost. So they would have maybe 5 or so extra rows of hearts. And then for every player that is playing the map with them, they would get a reduced amount of hearts. So yeah, let me explain this through an example. So let's say I'm playing it with 2 of my friends. So there's 3 players in total. We would all have the default amount of health. So by default, I mean I have health. This is how much health I have. That's all I get because I'm playing with 3 players. But now let's say I'm only playing with 2 players. So I would give both players 2 extra rows of hearts. So instead of just having this many hearts, I would have another 2 rows. But then let's say I'm playing by myself. So instead of having 2 extra rows, I would have 4 extra rows. So that's what I'm thinking of when I think about balance. And perhaps that's not enough. Perhaps I would have to give 10 extra rows or something outrageous or much larger than one might think originally. But that's the idea that I'm going to explore and try to figure out. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And I will get back to you when I figure out something for it. All right, I added the system. It's kind of interesting how it works. So what I have is a scoreboard objective. You can probably see it on the sidebar, called difficulty. So what happens is we run the scoreboard players set command for all players who are in the arena. We set their difficulty to 0. Now, this is kind of confusing. Well, this is just the reset. So this command happens before the next command because we set it to 0 and then we apply this command. So the value that we're left with will be the difficulty that we have. Now, it's probably confusing, but this command hopefully should explain things. This is executing for all players who are in the arena. It is going to add 1 to the difficulty score for all players who are in the arena. So, yeah, so now let me explain. So now if there's 3 players in the arena, each player will add 1 to the difficulty score of all of the other players. So if there's 3 players, then the difficulty score will be 3. So this one sets it to 0, then this one sets it to 3, so the score that we're left with will be 3. And then what we can do is we can use this to determine how much health boost we're going to give the player. So right here we have the game start system. So what happens is when the player clicks the sign to start the game, all of these command blocks get activated, including this one. This one fills this region right here with redstone blocks to activate all of these command blocks down here. And what each one of these does is it gives, not this one resets, sorry. It gives all of the players who have a difficulty score of 1, it gives them a large amount of health boost. If they have a difficulty score of 2, then it gives them a smaller amount of health boost, all the way down to difficulty 10, which gives them just 2 rows of extra hearts. Now this is going to require testing to balance out, but I will do that off camera. It works. It's very interesting. So when I'm playing alone, I have a difficulty of 1 and I have a ton of extra hearts. So let me show that to you right now. If I teleport to the lobby, game mode adventure, and then I jump over here and I choose the berserker. That's the bug I was talking about, where it kills you but it doesn't actually kill you. I'll figure out why that happens. You choose to fight the berserker. You can see I have a certain amount of health, but then once I enter the arena, that's when it actually gives me the bonus health. So when I click there, you'll see it gave me a ton of extra hearts, and now it's like this guy is, yeah, I can just face tank him, basically. So that is the basic idea behind it. I think it does need to be a lot less, but it works. So let me just kill myself so that I can reset the arena. Yeah, sadly, that's all we have time for today. I would have liked to do some more testing, but it just took, everything takes longer than I think it does, but it just took longer. But this is basically what I'll be doing in between episodes, is just testing, and more testing. And when I see a bug, I'll try to think of ways to fix it, and then I'll fix it. And that is the key to making a good map, is testing. That is my advice for you today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Have a fantastic day.